Okay, as you can see, this is circulatory system functions. Now, essentially, there's only three major functions, maybe four if I add one more. We did these in class, but I thought I'd just run through them again for you and put it on the website. So, circulatory system, and the first and probably the most important one is transport. Everything your cell needs, everything your cells need to get rid of, it gets it via the blood. And in this picture here, these are the arteries, major arteries of your body, and the heart there clearly pumps everything through the arteries. And one key thing is your respiratory gases, whether that be oxygen in the hemoglobin, carbon dioxide you're getting rid of, all the respiratory gases. This happens to be the villi, if you remember that from the digestive system. So all that food you broke down gets absorbed into the blood. And if we have time, we'll talk about that lymphatic system. It takes in the fattier materials that don't quite get carried by the blood because blood's water and the fats and oil don't mix kind of thing. So nutrients. And here's another picture of the villi right there. I said before you need to get rid of waste. This is what the kidney does in this picture here. This is the part that filters your blood. We'll find out more information about it later, but still transport. And this is really essentially what the nitty-gritty of your kidneys look like. This is called a nephron. And in this instance, the red blood, which would be the arterial, under pressure blows stuff into here, and it kind of filters and reabsorbs material, so get rid of waste. We also transport hormones. We talked about the hormones being coursing around your veins, um, and we have well, I wouldn't say 100. We have several dozen hormones that pass through and around your blood. And when it comes to fighting off diseases, there's this proteins called antibodies. There's several types which fend off diseases and attack invading pathogens. Second function is temperature. When you sweat, that's one aspect of doing it through your skin, but your blood can also come closer to the surface and open up. And if you get kind of red in the face, that means there's blood close to the surface. And oftentimes when people are exercising more, they get more flushed, which means that the arterioles, the blood vessels are dilating, getting bigger, so more blood comes to the surface, therefore more heat gets vented off. And there's Cassius Clay, aka Muhammad Ali. And if we were to look at his blood capillaries at this point, I'm sure they'd be a little bit more open and venting off heat. And here's kind of an infrared picture of how heat distributed. And you could probably take a before and after when someone's exercising and not exercising and see the surface would be much warmer as the blood vents off heat. Now the flip side would be when it gets really cold. When it's really cold, you do not want to damage your body to the point where you die, obviously, but you want to make sure that your major organs survive. So things like toes, nose, ears, extremities, we're not so worried about those, so they're nice. But if your heart, kidneys, lungs, those things get damaged, and specifically your brain, you're not going to do very well. So what tends to happen is that you can regulate your temperature by actually having less blood go to the surface areas, and therefore you keep that heat and retain it in the body parts you need. And here's this graphic picture of what can happen. So this person may or may not lose a pinky here or some parts of the fingers, but they're not going to die. Third part of this might be the immune system, defense system. And these happen to be pictures of different types of white blood cells or leukocytes, which kind of fend off and help you fight off diseases. And the last thing, which I said is like, sort of a function, shows emotion. That when you get embarrassed, you may get red in the face. And so the idea is it's showing emotion. Probably before we had as a species in terms of evolution, before we had a really good written language or verbal language talking, we may have conveyed information just based on colors of our skin, etc., and how things changed. That was mad. And here's this crazy little girl here getting really mad and getting red in the face. And maybe this person's embarrassed here. Could be wrong. That's it.